Neal, how are you?
Hey man, good to see you.
Yeah. Thanks for this, man. I really appreciate it. It's
Of course, yeah. Thanks for
never.
getting up
Yeah,
Saturday
yeah,
afternoon for me.
yeah. I know. Well, there was almost gonna be a bit of a delay there because I would have still been asleep, but somehow I
Well,
don't
that's a
know.
good.
I must have had like some niggling feeling or something. When like I just for some reason woke up. I don't know why. If I because I had my alarm set for an hour and a half past where we are right now. I had it set for like 7:30, and so I would have woke up and been stuffing around making coffees and stuff, and then you would have probably thought this guy's fucking useless.
Just try for another weekend.
Yeah, no, but no, I appreciate you taking your time out. So I don't want to give a bad impression or anything like that.
Man, no problem. Anything for you.
Oh, thanks, man. So yeah, you just got off tour or something, eh? Is that right? For Carnifex and
Yeah, we've been back about a month now.
oh right.
We got we got back right before Christmas, the Yule season. And yeah, we had I think it was right on the money, a month long Europe and UK run.
Yeah, cool, man. That's because you didn't really have much of a break after you just came to Australia, did you? You pretty much went straight back into
No,
it.
man, it was a bit crazy last year. Like last year was really my first. I did a couple random things throughout. And no one, the last thing anybody wants to hear is a boring COVID story, and I couldn't get out of my fucking house. But my first foray back to touring was last summer, from after our lockdowns and shit, and it we really hit it hard. Like I signed on with Carnifex, and it was just like, all right, tour for
Mm.
a good like 4 months. Like I think we put in 4 months in the last 6 months of 22,
Yeah, jeez. Yeah,
which was crazy after a little over 2 years of just nothing.
yeah, yeah. Would have been hard to get back into it. No sleep and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely a change, but yeah, we've been home, and it's been good to be home for a little over a month. We've been writing though. I mean, it hasn't been. I took a week off of doing nothing, and then just right around the new year, started writing again.
Yeah. So, have you finished recording the instruments now, or
No, we're finishing up writing. We're really like cutting it close to the wire right now. We the drums start recording in mid February, so 2 weeks. We're going down next weekend to rehearse the record, just to kind of give it more of a live vibe. It's the
yeah,
first record in a couple for Carnifex that we're going to do live drums. And what I mean by that is that, like pretty much everybody uses at least samples on top of the drums these days, and have
yeah,
for over a decade. But um, because because of like just constraints, financial and otherwise, a couple of the recent ones. I hope I'm not like completely blowing their spot up with this, but a couple of the recent ones, especially that EP, were just they're sampled drums, and then Sean obviously plays them live.
okay,
He's an incredible drummer. But this one is going to be pure live, like mic'd in a room drums.
mm.
And to make sure that that's right, we're going to go rehearse the record as a full band for like 3 days next weekend,
Yeah, cool, man.
just to really get the live feel back into it.
Yeah. It's probably
I'm super stoked about doing so. Also,
yeah. It'll sound a bit more organic and won't have that kind of overproduced kind of sound, I
yeah,
guess. Eh?
yeah. I mean, even the people, I've tons of people that don't even know they're bored of that overproduced sound, are over it right now. People that don't even know how to explain what they're listening to are like, man, it just sounds the same. So I'm like, yeah, it's too overproduced. You've heard too much production. You've heard the same
Yeah,
air sample.
that's like there's a band. I won't say their name, but it's a band. I really love the band, but one of their albums, their last album, they broke up. Um, it was so overproduced, and I found it tiring to listen to the whole album. By the end of it, it's just I don't know. Even one of my friends, we were in my car one time. We were driving around, and he goes, "Man, it sounds good, but it's kind of like it's hard to listen to the whole thing. It's just I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, no, it totally does. I so much so I've used a couple analogies in the past, but it's a lot like I feel like cereal changed in the 90s or something. You got to go with me on this. So like I feel like and it might only be a US thing, which is going to make me look it's definitely going to regionalize me. Anyways, I feel like due to some kind of chemicals and whoever's in charge of making sure what chemicals we can eat and what can't eat, and I know your government's a little more healthy than mine, but cereal changed, and it just became this thing to where all of a sudden, like Captain Crunch tasted like cornflakes, and everything it tasted good, but it tasted like the same thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then I feel like a full generation of people are kind of off milk and cereal because the whole thing started tasting like the same fucking thing.
Yeah, really.
And I mean, I could be completely alone, and maybe I'm just making this whole thing up, but I've used this before, and at least like around a bar, people can agree with me on it. So.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah, like you just hear, if you hear the same thing in this, the same flavor, same sound, whatever, it gets old, even if it's a different band. If it's the same, you're hearing the same sonic imprint so many times.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You can't keep going. You can't give it a full record's listen anymore.
There's like no nuance to it either. Like it's
sure.
And if it's super compressed, there's no dynamics kind of, hey, like maybe
100%,
maybe I'm saying that wrong, but yeah.
No, I mean dynamics are huge, and even in genre, I mean it can pretty much span all of metal at this point, but dynamics are a bit of a lost art, and in deathcore there is little dynamics, if I'm going to call us all out, but it's either softer or like right in your face, and then you just play between the two. But there is subtlety still there, and I feel like that's what we are going to gain from practicing the record and doing live drums and doing this more in to some people old-fashioned way of recording. I think the subtlety is going to be there for people willing to listen to it.
Yeah, for sure. So if I'm getting you correctly, you guys are, obviously you said you're going to rehearse for 3 days the record, and then when you go to actually record it, is all going to be playing at the same time, or are you still going to do your individual takes?
Yeah, sorry, I must have misspoken. So
no, that's probably my bad, but yeah,
the normal fashion of like we're gonna record separately. We'll go do we're doing it all in Florida at Jason Sukoff's studio.
Yeah,
and
is he the guy in the wheelchair?
What's that?
Is that a guy in a wheelchair?
Yeah. He's interestingly enough, like I've been friends with Jay for a long time, years, but I've never worked with him. I've always been in bands that have worked with him.
Okay.
Like my band DevilDriver worked with him. Carnifex did several records with him. I've had friends do records with him, but I've never known him in a professional atmosphere, which is this would be the first.
Yeah. Okay. It's cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah. So, back to what you're asking. We're doing it in the same kind of thing where we go drums, then rhythms, then we're going to do leads and bass kind of around the same time. So me and Fred are going to kind of overlap the times that we're in Florida.
Oh, cool.
And then final vocals,
Yeah, cool. So you contributing a fair bit just to the record yourself, like your riffs and stuff?
Yeah, they've been I've been fortunate enough to like really be let into the fold there. The previous guitar player that I replaced, Jordan, definitely had like a big hand in writing riffs. I think, as most people know, even looking at it from overhead, that Sean's kind of like the mastermind. He also is an incredible guitar player, great riff writer. But yeah, they let me. It was really kind of all right, Neal, you're in the band. You're gonna help with this record. What do you got? It wasn't like, hold on a second, we'll see if we get 1 or 2 songs. It's like I have at least a riff, if not more, in every song that we're recording.
Wow, that's cool. That's pretty ballsy of them as well, just in case, you know what I mean, because obviously every guitarist has a different flavor.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I feel like I've got like a good enough resume to like at least get heard by people by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know. Even it doesn't matter how good I am. It matters how well I can fit into the vibe of the band.
Yeah.
which, you know, also speaks for playing live with the band too. It's not, everybody's great. Everybody's awesome at guitar nowadays.
Yeah.
It's just how you fit with everybody else, and can you tour and not go insane? Yeah.
That's one thing I haven't done yet. I haven't toured. We're actually, my band's going to Brisbane in May. We're playing like 2 shows, so that'll be our first time out of Western Australia. So I wouldn't exactly call it a tour, I guess, but
I would still, I was still shocked whenever I listened to your band and you told me that you guys hadn't done any real touring.
Oh, really? Oh, thanks.
It's happening. It's going to happen. I mean, it's up to you guys, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think, I think the music's there. It's just up to you guys to do it.
Appreciate that. Yeah, the hardest thing, obviously, as you know, is Perth's so isolated. So to go anywhere, it's like fucking $1,000 each.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $5,000 for the band just to go to one city and play like one show. We're playing 2 shows because there's another city just near it, but just to get out of Perth is like $5,000 for the band. You know, it's fucking a lot of money, and then if you're going to add extra cities to that, then we're going to, obviously, as you know, you got to rent vehicles and stuff like that, and it's just it's just really expensive. So especially when we don't have any kind of, the band has no income at all. You know what I mean? So we might get a couple $100 from a show, but you know what that's like? That's paid for your dinner and your fuel to drive to the show.
Yeah.
And your drinks because the rider's like one beer.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
Half a slice of pizza and 1 beer.
Yeah. No, you don't even get food. They just like have a beer and go hungry. There's a bin out the back if you're hungry enough.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have it stacked against you being in such an isolated place. Like, the only thing I can really relate it to is there's this band from Alaska, 36 Crazy Fists.
Yeah, I know them. Yeah.
So yeah, like they're I got to know them a little bit. I've toured with them a couple times, and the kind of the same thing. Like they're just up in Alaska. Like you can go play in Canada, but like if you're going to hit markets that are actually going to help, not to say that it doesn't help to play Northwest Canada, but there are you know, guaranteed bigger markets that are going to make you money and get you seen around more people that aren't there. It's farther away, and you got to spend. It's something that I didn't know when I was first starting out in a van and trailer. Like we would just go play out those cities an hour and a half away, and we were just using the van, you know, and it sucked at the time because we get a pizza and that was it. But I didn't realize how good we had it, I guess now. Meeting people from other corners of the world, you know.
It'd suck as well if you got the pizza and then you're like, oh, I'm actually gluten-free and I don't eat dairy. Dietary requirements, I can't eat it. Do you guys have a salad or something?
Right. I'll trade you.
Yeah. But so how did you come to be in Carnifex? I'm pretty sure you told me this when you're in Perth, but I think I had a few beers under my belt. So
yeah, I think I did too. With the beers, and I told you, but I agree with what things said. So I've known the band and specifically Scott for a long time. We met through our wives forever ago, and so he would always come to my shows. I would come to his shows. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. He was in San Diego. Every time that I was down there and they were playing, I'd go see him. Every time that you know, vice versa. And I think it's the end of 2019. He hit me up and said that Jordan was going to leave and wondered if I could just fill in a tour from it was like late January to late February of 2020, and it was a European tour. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I kind of checked with my band at the time. We didn't have anything planned, so I was like, yeah, I'm in. And we went and had a great time. He was like, okay, cool. We got this other tour coming up in April. You want to do that? And I was like, yeah, I do. I'm free. Cool. And then all, you know, worldwide lockdown happened. That tour didn't happen. And then, you know, fast forward 2 years later, I think they started hitting it as soon as everything opened in 21. They started hitting it. I think they did like two or three tours. I could be mistaken. It could be 18. I don't know. They did some touring in 21, And at the time, I was still just kind of waiting around. They wanted to experiment as a 4-piece,
Yeah.
and so they did that. And then I quit DevilDriver and I went out to their LA show. I want to say it was 21, and they did a tour with Black Dahlia. It was one of the last big Black Dahlia murder tours before Trevor's passing. And they're like, "Well, so what's up? Are you gonna tour with us now?" And I was like, "Yeah, give me a call." And then so it was the next tour, which for them was the 22 Chaos and Carnage. It was us and Suicide Silence were the headliners.
Yeah.
I did that one, and then shortly, I think a month after that, they asked me to officially join.
No, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
You seem like you fit in, when I was hanging out with you guys, you all had a good chemistry, and you're like just a good bunch of mates.
Yeah, it's like I was kind of alluding to a little earlier, at this point, especially as I'm getting older, it really comes down to how well you can tour and live on the road with people if you want to be an enduring musician. And but it's also not all up to me to be a cool guy, whatever. It's also up for just to gel with the band, and it definitely gelling, at least so far, knock on wood. But yeah, we work really well, and I think it does also come from knowing each other for a while.
Yeah, for sure. And
they're getting into with me,
and you have the experience as well. So I guess if you're all experienced touring musicians, you know what it takes, and you know that it's a relationship with everyone, and that you're going to be spending more time with them than you would with your wife. So you got to be able to get along and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So how did you end up in DevilDriver then? How did you end up joining that band?
So that was I gotta keep attributing a lot of things to my wife, but this was also more so a dog. I had probably the best friend I've ever had in my whole life. His name was Mr. Six. He was a Great Dane. He lived to 14. We lost him in 2018, but I want to say it was like around 2012, 2013. Dez, lead singer of DevilDriver, and Cold Chain, everyone knows who Dez is. He got a Great Dane as well, and our wives found each other on Instagram of being like these rock and roll wives with these huge black and white Great Danes thing. And I don't mean to downplay either of our wives. Like, my wife has her own life in her own right, and so does Anastasia, runs a management company. They're both great in their own way. They have agency.
Yeah.
And they're not just rock and roll wives taking care of dogs at home, I guess is what I'm But yeah, so they found each other on Instagram, became friends, and they were like, "Hey, we should hang out." And so we went down and met for dinner at the Fafaras, and I want to say it ended at like, we just wanted to go down and then we'd be back by 10 to take care of the dog. But it cut to like 3:30 a.m. Me and Des are drunk around a record player listening to like old Acid Bath and Pantera, and just being like, I think we're best friends now.
Yeah. So that Step Brothers moment.
Yeah, a bit. And then a year or two later, a couple guys in DevilDriver quit, and he called me. I was like, "Hey man, you want to do this?" And fuck yeah,
Yeah, well, because I never really ever got into DevilDriver. I was never exposed to it really. I remember I used to be on this Machine Head message board back in like the early 2000s. I think Cold Chamber. Everyone used to make fun of Cold Chamber on there. I don't know why. I never really listened to them, but then I think it was just the thing to hate on them, and then
sure.
And then obviously Des made DevilDriver, and then I just never bothered listening to it because of that or something. It's dumb. It's so stupid, but I just never listened to it. And then obviously after I met you, I was like, I might check out what stuff you've been into. I want to hear what your guitar playing is like and all that. And I listened to, I can't remember the name of the record, but it was one of the ones you're on because I looked up the Wikipedia thing, And
Yeah.
it's fucking really, really good. It's really heavy. And I was like, man,
Thanks,
this
man.
shit is way better than what I was like. I didn't really have any expectation, but I was like, man, this is really fucking cool. And I love the guitar playing in it, man. It's fucking awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that the time that I spent in DevilDriver was it's going to be like a jewel in my cap
Yeah.
for a long time. The writing that I got to do with Austin, the drummer that was there at the time that I was, and then also Mike, who's been in the band for over 20 years at this point. Some of the more fun times I've ever had writing, and I really think that Mike and I had something special with our guitar connections, not only writing but live
Yeah.
too. It just really like we were real intuitive with each other.
That's cool, man. It's good when you get that,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah, yeah, it's rare. I've had it a couple of times in my life. I feel like it's burgeoning in Carnifex as well again. So I might get a third one with Corey. Corey's great. It's just I don't want to step on anything that's already there at this point. It's where I'm at. But yeah, it's rare and it's super super enjoyable when you get it.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I remember you were telling me, you used to play guitar for like was it like a American Idol or something like that?
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
It's like a lot of my stories, it's long, but I guess the short of it is my friend David Cook won American Idol season 7, I believe. It was in 2008.
Oh, so he was a winner, actually won the whole thing.
Yeah, he was an American Idol for
wow.
the year that you are, I guess, till the next season starts.
Is that all that? Obviously, you probably saw a side of it that no one else sees because it's so sensationalized on TV. But is it actually pretty? Like, is it a lucrative kind of thing, or is it more kind of show busy and behind the scenes? Like, it's not really that good of a deal, or
what? It's honestly, it's definitely a better shot than nothing. You know what I mean? Like it's you kind of it's kind of like any other record contract that I've been a part of or even seen my friends in, to where like you have to do the work still. Like it's not and I'm not calling David out. Like David did do the work. He was one of the ones, like you can look like we have a platinum record together. He did the work, like other like Carrie Underwood's another huge one that did the work,
Yeah.
But there are some like who won season 10. Like I don't know. I'm not ragging on whoever did, but I don't know their name.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I suppose it's like an opportunity. It's whatever you're prepared to do with it.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons that David worked out and is still a professional musician today is that he was already doing it before American Idol, and he is now after,
Yeah, that's cool, man. Another one's probably Daughtry, didn't he? Wasn't he like an American Idol?
Oh yeah, of course, huge. Yeah, Chris.
He didn't win though, did he? I don't think he won.
I don't think so. He got close. It was like I don't know, but man, he seemed like we played a couple of shows with him, and he's super nice. But he seemed like he had the idea of what he wanted to do, and it almost seemed like it was going to happen whether he was even a part of American Idol or not. Like it was just he had the package ready to go. Like just
I like some of his stuff. There's one of his albums. I don't know the name of it now. I used to listen to it years ago, but he's got some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He's a good muso, awesome singer, and some of their stuff is more like rock orientated with a bit of a heavier side. Or some of that stuff's really well put together, and so you ended up playing guitar for this guy. How did that happen again? So he won you were friends with him, you were saying?
Yeah, we met years before the first band. I'm not from Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I started playing music out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I cut my teeth there. Started touring there, at least within the U.S. It was all based out of there for a good 7 years or so, and in that time we met David, who was living in Kansas City at the time with a band. He was fronting and writing all the stuff for a band called Axiom. My band would play with that band, and we tour around, and then we became such good friends we convinced him to move to Tulsa to join our band. I don't know why I keep not saying that. The name was MWK, was my band's name. And he joined the band, lived there for a while. He ended up quitting because he wanted to just do solo stuff. But I would start playing with him in his solo gigs as well as playing with my band. And then I want to say like 2 or 3 years after that, he tried out for American Idol, and then that started.
Yeah, okay. And then so you went on tour with him and stuff, eh?
Yeah, I became his music director. So I did, while he was doing, once you won American Idol, you then go on the Idol tour, which is like a summer run. It's them capitalizing on the show. They put out all the people in the top 12 or something like that, some number of the people that were on the show, and they tour the US with it. And while they were doing that, they flew me out to LA, and that was actually when I moved there. And I was playing guitar and writing a little, but mainly just playing guitar on his record that then came out. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Did I answer your question though?
Yeah.
I get lost in the time. I'm trying to think. So we're going like backwards in my career.
Yeah, we kind of did. We started at Carnifex and worked backwards. Hey, just a second. There's something come up on the screen. It says something about the Zoom meeting. Just give me a sec.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well that thing said is we've got 10 minutes left because I'm using the free version of Zoom. So I guess when it cuts out, we could just I could send you another link or something.
Call me back. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that I had a limit, but that sucks. It's annoying. Yeah. So how did you actually get into playing guitar? Oh, like how did you start? How did you pick up a guitar and all that? Well, how were you introduced to the instrument?
Yeah, I think mainly Nirvana.
Yeah,
like a one-word answer to that, but it was just me turning into a teenager right around the time that Nevermind came out, and that that Unplugged record too.
Is that Unplugged in New York? That one?
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
And I'm not like the biggest fan anymore. I don't care for it because I feel like I've moved on about it. But yeah, that was big at the time, and I was like, man, I just want a guitar. I want to do that. And my grandma got me a Fender Squier. And originally, I'm left-handed, so originally I had a left-handed guitar, and I was like, this is work. I'm the new Kurt Cobain, even though at the time still alive. I'm like, it's already doing it. But I played for a while. I learned like that whole Nevermind record, and then I was like, there's got to be more. And then I went back and started like I really had kind of a sheltered musical life before all that, and so I didn't have much to go back to. But I was like, man, I remember hearing Black Sabbath, so I go, and then I started learning Sabbath riffs. And at the time, I started wanting a better guitar, and then I was looking at how like left-handed one costs like $400 more than just the right-handed one. So then I was like, all right, this is the time to switch. I'm just going to switch to right-handed.
Yeah, wow. So you're left-handed in everything else you do, but bar play guitar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. I'm left-footed. Right, left-handed. I'm trying to think of one thing I do right-handed besides play guitar. I think there's anything.
Man, that must have been hard to switch because I can't imagine how hard that'd be.
I tried for I don't know, the reasoning behind it was probably just parlor tricks, but I tried to keep both for a while. I was like, I'm gonna just
so you can't go back now. If someone has a left-hand guitar, you can't just pick it up and shred away.
It's so weird. No, I can't.
Oh, that's funny. So do you like write any kind of music outside of your bands that you've been in? Do you work on your own solo kind of stuff or?
Yeah, not. I don't know. Yes, I guess yes is the answer to that. But I prefer writing with other people.
Yeah. Okay.
That I think like whatever I've got, I know it can be made better by. I have these genius friends that are so good. I mean, I could call Mike from DevilDriver, and anything metal that I've done, that would maybe be groove metal, I know he could expound upon it and make it better.
Yeah.
So why would I want to just do a Neal record, you know, when I have all these friends that are great that could do stuff too, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, I do have like there's other stuff. Like I've got another project with Austin Diamond, who ex DevilDriver drummer, and the singer named Sean Z, part of Chimera.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a name yet, but that's mainly me and Austin's riffing around and just Sean writing and singing on top of it, screaming.
So do you do vocals too? Do you?
I can. I have. I just at this point in my life, I try just to focus on guitar. But yeah, I mean, like I can sing, I can scream. I've all my bands up until, I guess I did. Yeah, I had a mic in DevilDriver too. So everything up until Carnifex, I would have a mic on stage and I would be doing some kind of auxiliary vocals at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you say Dillinger?
No, DevilDriver. Sorry.
I was going to say, were you in Dillinger Escape Plan as well?
Not in DevilDriver Escape Plan.
DevilDriver Escape Plan.
Yeah.
So when do you know when you're going to release any of that stuff or?
No, that so right now we're waiting on some final drums from Austin.
Okay.
I would take this time to publicly call him out and tell him to finish the drum track. So
I'm sure the 10 people that watch it will let him know. Nah, hopefully a few people watch. Slowly growing an audience.
Yeah.
No, I don't care about the numbers. I'll just do it because I enjoy it. So it's the main thing.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. So what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. It's because you know how you were saying you work better with working with other musicians. I'm kind of the other way around. Strangely, like
you're trying to cut them out.
No, if people are like, oh man, come jam with us, man. I'll take a guitar and I'm just shit. I just don't know where to start. I prefer to just be by myself and come up with my own stuff. That's how I've always been. Even our guitarist from my band, we both work separately because I don't know. I'm just not good at improvising on the spot and jamming ideas and stuff like that. I've never have been. I've always kind of done my own thing. So yeah, it's bizarre like that. But
do you still collaborate at all? Like you send riffs over and
send riffs and then he sends stuff back and then he'll throw me ideas and then I'll go to him, oh, maybe we'll try this and then we tab the riffs out and send the tabs back and forth in case how do you play that riff? Oh yeah, like this, and then might change a few things and send it back. And so there's definitely that.
Well, that's the modern version of what I'm talking about. I mean,
yes, I suppose, yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it probably is. But
there's definitely dudes out there that they think that whatever they're doing is just going to be, corroded by someone else if they're involved. So they just keep to themselves. And
I think I've got a bit of that. Like think I'm guilty of that a bit. I'm worried about like my idea getting changed or something, which is something I've learned to let go of a bit. Obviously, as you become in a band, there has to be a bit of give and take and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm just going to check how much time's on this thing. Just a sec.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, where were we? Guitar playing. Oh yeah. So how long have you been playing 7-string for?
I've been playing 7-string since December of 2019. Not long.
Oh right.
I got the call to do that first Carnifex tour, and I was of course aware of them playing 7 and 8 strings, but I'd never played one. And then I said yeah to the tour, and then I was like, oh god, I was like, now I got to learn it. I got to learn this other. And it really did. Like at first, for some reason, 8-string came a little easier to me. I think it's because bar chords kind of are the same on an 8-string. If you just add a couple more strings onto your your left index, assuming you're a guitar player, where it's not the same. I mean, of course, you can do it with those like 5-string bar chords with a 7-string, but for some reason, 8 came naturally faster. Um, but yeah, I remember being like, oh fuck, I just signed on to this tour and I have to play lead guitar for this band and I don't even know the instrument. And but I mean,
it's pretty easy to pick up though, hey.
Just one more string. It's not like
but I find it's weird to go back to a 6-string now. Like if I pick up 6-string, the neck feels so small, and I'm just like, I don't know, it feels weird. But
so Carnifex is the only thing that I do with more than 6, but it's my primary stuff, so it's my main thing I do. But I still do session work out of here, and it's all 6-string stuff, and I feel like I can play so much faster, and I could see everything like quicker on a 6-string now. It like helps.
I don't have any 6-strings anymore. I should get. I want to get one. I might get an Ormsby sometime just to to shred on. I used to have a Kramer because I went through this phase where I was obsessed with Skid Row, like just their leads.
Sure.
I love the guitar solos on some of that stuff, and so that had a Floyd Rose on it, and so I was trying to learn that, and then a bit of Motley Crue, Kickstart Your Heart.
Of course.
Love that song. It's a good song. It's a banger. Yep. Fuck, that's so much fun to play that song as well. It's something about that song. It's just fucking awesome fun to play.
Most Motley Crue, I almost said all, but most Motley Crue is super fun,
energetic.
It's a great place to, like, as soon as you get over the like beginner blues of guitar and like get to where you can actually play. From then on, it's just it's fun from then until you're even a professional musician 20 years later. It's still fun to play. Like I love it. I've always been a Crue fan. I always will be.
Yeah. What's your biggest inspirations then, musical?
Overall, the huge specific ones for guitar starting out were, like I already mentioned, Nirvana, but I'd say more so were Ozzy and all of his guitar players.
Or Randy Rhoads and stuff.
Randy Rhoads was a big one for me. And then I'd put like Jakey Lee second, Zakk Wylde third in that. I also listened to a lot of ZZ Top growing up. I don't think I've said it yet, which is surprising because everybody makes fun of me. I say it like every second sentence, but I was born in Texas, and the big bands looking back that I listened to before guitar that have stayed around, so obviously influenced me along the way, were ZZ Top and Pantera.
Yeah,
but two huge Texas bands that would seem more than obvious for someone like me to listen to. But those were the biggest ones. Nowadays, and I would say ever since my 20s or so, I listen to a lot more like crooner singing, and by that I mean like I like Lana Del Rey a lot. I get tons of inspiration from listening to Lana Del Rey. That type of music, that ilk, really gets my creative
crooner
stuff.
I'm trying to think.
It helps. I also listen to a fair amount of classical. There's my dog saying hi. The biggest influence being Chopin classically.
Okay.
But there's not a time where I don't listen to at least a little bit of Chopin before I write solos, like metal solos. Yeah, it
I'll
helps
have to check
so
that
much.
out. Can you send me a link later to some of their stuff? Because I'm not familiar.
Of course. Yeah.
I like to always check out new stuff. So, especially, that's not metal, obviously, is it?
No. This is, predominantly 18th century piano music.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. I'll be interested to hear that.
Yeah, just listening to the melodies that he can get away with on just an acoustic instrument, it's unreal, unworldly.
Yeah, that's there was some cool stuff back then, especially when you listen to like Beethoven and that as well. Just like the amount of work involved in that stuff is insane.
Yes.
Like it's completely different.
I'm sure that those geniuses are still alive today. People that are doing every bit of what these artists that we've just mentioned have done. But it's so crazy that we at least just get to live in a time where we can still hear people like Mozart, like Rachmaninoff is another huge one for me that it just feels like I don't know that I believe in blessings and stuff, but it feels like such a blessing to even be able to just hear it. Like it's a way to get me to smile and tear up at the same time. Just listen to like some
man.
good Chopin.
That's cool, man, as well. Especially when you get like an emotional kind of
very visceral, like immediately for me. Yeah,
I'll get that with nostalgic stuff because I listened to heaps of music when I was a kid because I was I'm the youngest of all my brothers, and they all kind of left the nest pretty early, and they were always out with friends and that, and I was stuck at home, and I was always by myself, so I would listen to their CDs because you want to be like your older brothers, so I'd listen to their music and I used to listen to so much. There was like Megadeth, like Euthanasia, Rust in Peace, and Countdown to Extinction, and then Pantera, Fabian Driven, and Vulgar Cowboys, and Trendkill mostly, and then Metallica. I think the main ones I was listening to is like Master of Puppets and Justice and the Black Album, and then like the Nativity in Black, the Sabbath thing.
Yeah,
used to listen to that so much. And I remember, and if I listen to that now, I'll get like emotional almost. It's I know it's kind of lame, but if I'm driving in my car, I get like chills and almost get tears because I'm just like remember being a kid and just listening to that and I know it was a good time in my life listening to music because that's all I had. I didn't have any friends and had no one to hang out with, so it was just me listening to music by myself in my room, and so that was like my first friend, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I can relate. I don't even listen, and nor did I really at the time listen to Pearl Jam. I've just never been like the hugest fan. I of course respect the longevity of the career alone. Yeah. Jesus, but there's a song. It's called like Elderly Woman, dude. It's something like, I seem to recognize your face. It's a nice Eddie Vedder impression. It reminds me of going to this one awesome summer camp when I was like 12 or 13, and it's the same. Like, I'll be like, God, that was fucking good times. Good times.
Man, I don't mind some Pearl Jam. There's some good stuff. It's just never. Besides like Even Flow and the hits, like I never it's only the hits. I don't know why. Yeah, I find to me anyway, the hits are obviously the for me anyways the greatest stuff. I've listened to other stuff on the albums, but I haven't really been able to get into it too much. But yeah, some of the hits, and like I remember when that Jeremy song came out with a video of the school shooting, and that was on Rage. I don't know. I guess that's similar to probably like MTV or something in the US, but we had a thing called Rage here, and it was like on the weekend in the morning, I think. It was probably every morning.
It was almost like they were warning us about school shootings. Yeah. It's weird.
Well, was that video was made after the Columbine one, I'm guessing. They were kind of probably trying to mimic that, I guess. But I just remember the impact of that. And then that song it's fucking so well written. Just thinking about it now. And the video, if you watch the video and listen to that song, man, it gives you chills. You're like, and that's something to just capture a vibe like that with your music because it's hard to. And then when you do capture a vibe, it's so fucking cool.
It's cool sounds too. It goes back to what we were talking about, the overproduction stuff. As big as a record as that was and how much money was behind it, I can still remember what that 12-string bass and piano sound like at the beginning. And then we can remember
the harmonics and that
different than other things,
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Then you don't get that as much anymore. There's probably stuff out there, but not that I'm exposed to. But I don't know. It just
seems some teenagers are like this that know of these sounds. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe I don't have to lump you in with my age.
I don't think there's that much of a big difference between our ages, is there? How old are you?
Just turned 40.
Oh, I'm 37 in this month. So yeah.
Yeah, we're out of touch, really.
Yeah, but like I was saying to someone on a couple episodes back on this podcast, is that we think that like the 90s and that was a great era for stuff, but then that's only because we were listening to that stuff then. But then there's probably guys like a generation now that's teenagers that right now is their 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Yeah. But going back to, you were saying you were a fan of Pantera. What's your thoughts on the whole reunion thing? Without obviously anything saying anything controversial, I guess, but
yeah, I guess I don't have huge opinions. I think it's well documented that Vinnie Paul didn't want them to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a quick YouTube search will send you that way. I think it's also a little less documented, but still out there that I think I don't want to misquote a dead man, but Vinnie Paul also talked about his brother after he died, saying that he would want the spirit of him to live on and want, like the music to live on. So I'm glad that people are getting to experience it. I don't know, it's hard, man. I was fortunate enough to do a couple tours with Vinnie Paul before he died, and he really that's a story I don't think I've ever told on any kind of official interview, but he really in his own way helped me through a really hard time with my old dog Mr. Six that I brought up. He had a cancer scare on this one tour, and he heard about it, and he showed up like every day. We were on this festival thing with Hell Yeah, and he showed up every day and would like, come just make sure I'm cool, and like, you want to have a beer? Like, he didn't have to do that at all. He was like good salt of the earth guy. So like, if he didn't want Pantera to play, then
yeah,
I don't know. He was in Pantera.
Yeah, he has more of a say than anyone outside the band.
His words should be heeded. I don't know if that means they shouldn't do it. I don't know that someone that should say. I'm glad that kids are finding the music again, for sure. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I had a guy on here yesterday on this podcast, and he's in a really heavy band, kind of like it's like hardcore crossed with deathcore kind of thing, I guess. And he didn't know who Phil Anselmo was, and then hadn't really ever heard Pantera. So and I was like, man, as soon as we finish the podcast, I'm going to show you some Great Southern Trendkill or something, because that's probably the closest to deathcore, I guess, because that's such a harrowing sounding record, and it's so abrasive, that record.
It's my favorite Pantera record.
Same, that's mine too, and that's not a popular opinion though. Hey, I find that. But
people love to argue that one.
I love the thing I love most about it is the vocal layers. You know how there's him saying something, there's something under that and something under that, and it sounds so demonic. And just the drum sound, the guitar sound, everything about it, and fucking, I could just
first couple riffs down in B too, or on that record.
Yeah, there was some stuff in A, tuned to A, wasn't there? Drop A.
What's the A?
I think like that Underground in America. It was one of the last songs on the record. Is really low.
I remember like anything that I was sitting on, like, man, I should just like, I haven't played guitar for fun in a while. I'm going to play guitar for fun. I'm just going to go like learn a dime bag riff. I always end up getting pissed off because it's never in 440. It's down in 432.
Oh yeah. So it sounds a bit out.
Yeah, I mean, we live in the modern age where I can just like dial a knob on a Kemper, but for some reason that seems like such a big issue. Tune all guitar.
Yeah, because it probably sounds a bit off to your ears. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't do it unless it's right. I mean, it's close enough to, especially if like there's people around and having a couple of beers, you can tell. Who cares? But like if I'm sitting here myself and I'm listening to like reference monitors, then yeah, of course you can tell. And then it's like I just get frustrated, and then I'm like, I'm just gonna listen to some people get real and fuck around on the keyboard or something.
Have you experimented with different Hertz stuff or not really?
A little, but I've always run into the same issue that with other people that I said happened with me. It's like I would send them demos and they'd be like, what fucking tuning is this? What are you doing?
Do you know how to tune your guitar?
Yeah. But it gets real difficult, especially in a live setting of say you want to add some synth to it like after. Well, I mean, of course you got like a tuning knob on most analog synths, but it's just such a pain to get every other little thing just to where you can be down a little bit into like, I don't know. It's questionable how much all that means. I guess to me personally, it's an objective thing. Some people love the sound of 432. Some people think it has magical properties if you just tune an A down to there instead of 440.
Yeah, I've seen some videos where people reckon that it's something to do with vibrations and the human soul or something. I don't know.
We've all seen like the sand on the metal sheet that all turns into these cool shapes once it's at a certain vibration.
And like water,
I don't know.
Water coming out of a tap and they change the frequency of stuff. And it's cool. I'm sure there's some kind of thing there, but because there's not many bands really experiment with that. No, that I know of. There's Machine Head's the only other one I can think of that goes like 432 or something like that. Or maybe Slayer probably did. I guess maybe they did. Maybe, yeah. Because they probably thought it was like, demonic to do it back in the day when they were teenagers and wanted to be badasses.
The devil probably made it up. We'll do it.
It's probably 666 hertz.
So simple. Like I like just E standard. E flat is really good too. If I had my own way all the time, I think that like heaviest tuning for a 7-string is just down half a step to me in drop. At that point it's drop G sharp.
Yeah.
But, and then if you're 6-string, I like just drop C.
Drop C is cool.
Simple tunings.
We actually just changed the G drop because we were playing in drop A on 7-string, and we just changed drop G. I didn't really want to because I find that I used to try playing drop F as well. I used to have a Steph Carpenter signature baritone thing, and I was playing a bit of Deftones years ago. And I just find that when it's super low like that, I'm just not very creative with riffs. Everything sounds low and muddy, and I don't know. I just doesn't. I don't know. I'm just not very creative with it. But then I went to G again, and I thought, I'll try write some stuff like this. And actually, straight away, had a bit of a writer's block, and I wasn't really coming up with anything good. And then all of a sudden, went down to G, came up, wrote a song that day. And I was like, wow, that's all I needed was to change tunings.
It can be that easy.
You know who's good? Who does that a lot is that Mark Tremonti. He's got that many different tunings.
Does he?
Yeah. Because I
don't follow much. Of course, I'm aware of him and Alter Bridge and Creed. For that,
Well, I went through this phase probably 10 years ago or more, where I was really into Alter Bridge and just Mark Tremonti, and I had his instructional DVD and all that, and he's just always experimenting with different tunings, and and it's cool. I guess he always remains pretty creative, but he must have a massive guitar boat live. He must have like 10 guitars or something.
I mean it's one thing to push the creative boundaries and reach towards the edges of guitars and their tunings, but the other thing is the practical side of gotta fly with all these guitars.
Well, I've got and especially now I've got 2 guitars with Floyd's, and I kind of want to do some stuff with leads, with just some cool tremolo stuff, because I love that the subtle little tremolo things you can do, and I'm just thinking the other day, man, if I tune them down to G, that's going to be a pain in the ass setting that back up. And Floyd's a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one's come up with like a different system yet. I know there's a Carla, but I mean something just that's not so temperamental. Like even something like an Evertune, but that could have like a tremolo system in it. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Sure,
I guess surely it's just someone's not seeing the market. I guess I don't know.
Maybe I guess because an Evertune always keeps that even tension. If you were to dip the bar, it would just keep the tension. But I guess they could make a system where if you put your hand on the bar, the pressure of your hand might like unlock the tension and allow you to dip it. Maybe.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, they do. As someone who doesn't own an Evertune, so I shouldn't be even talking about it, but you can make it to where you can still like bend it.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I've got an Evertune, but
it's got the I don't know, the physics are there.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it's probably just there's a fair few moving parts in there, I think. So it's quite heavy. So I think for them to do anything like that, you're just going to add more weight unless they, I don't know. It's a whole nother hole to go down.
Yeah.
If they made it out of aircraft grade aluminum.
Is that the brushed?
Yeah. But yeah, so those Dunnable guitars,
Mm-hmm.
have you got a 7-string of one of them? Don't you? That V's 7-string, isn't it? That black one.
Yeah.
That's cool looking
My main
guitar.
guitar,
I like that
they're
guitar. Looks cool.
they're great. I mean, I've known Sasha, that his name's Sasha Dunnable, hence Dunnable Guitars, but he's a longtime Angelino. I met him in LA like maybe 12 years ago.
Okay.
At the time, he's had this band called Intronaut this whole time, that they're internationally touring band.
Yeah.
But he at the time he was also doing some just tech work. Like I think he was working for one guy and then started working out of his house. But it was whenever I was still playing with David Cook, I would be like, hey man, I don't have time to put like E and G's in these 2 guitars. Can you do that while I'm home? And then I'll come pick up right before tour. It's one of those scenarios.
Yeah.
And we started a friendship, and then, went from band to band. And it right around the time, it was right when I was starting with DevilDriver. I was like, I want to change. I'd been around, fortunately in my life, I've had like a couple different endorsements, and I've kind of been around all the ones that I really liked. And I was just looking for a change, and I wanted something more metal oriented, but I wanted to still be kind of vintagey. And
yeah.
That's how I found him and started working with him. And then fortunately he as soon as I joined Carnifex, I was like, I'm going to need 7-string. So the first Carnifex tour I just used some of Corey's backups, because I didn't know I was going to be in the band, nor did I know if
you were just kind of filling in.
Yeah. But then knowing once it was solidified, I was like, I'm going to really need some guitars. And he was like, yeah, I'll build you 7-string.
Yeah, that's cool. So
I don't know that it's a favorite thing to do, to build 7-string.
It looks cool though, that black one in particular. I dig that.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So how many guitars do you own? Oh, you have it over there, do you?
Yeah, it's in a case. You want to see it?
Yeah.
Is it that type of podcast?
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Still smells like Europe.
What does that smell like?
Unfortunately, a lot of cigarettes. This last tour back, like a lot of especially Eastern places like Eastern Germany, they started smoking indoors again.
Oh, really?
I don't know that I think there's still a ban on it, but they just stopped caring, I guess.
They stopped enforcing it.
Yeah, and I've just got like kind of a princess body in many ways, and one of the things about it is I've pretty bad asthma, so I'm mildly allergic to cigarette smoke, so it's like it really hits me.
So you don't smoke, do you?
No. I was dumb enough to do it for a long time, but I fortunately kicked it a while ago.
Yeah, so. Okay. I never started. I never got any habits, thank God.
Good, man, good.
Worst habits,
you got enough
women, actually.
Just staying alive.
What's that?
You got enough problems just trying to stay alive.
Yeah, that's right.
The bias taking you down,
Yeah, that's cool, man.
It is. There's.
I like the what is it on the body? Those little what do you call it, the bevels?
Oh yeah.
Looks different,
He's been a while on it. We could talk about rabbit holes. We can go down. Like I have the second. It's still technically a prototype. I have the second V he ever built. It's this gold one that was my main guitar in DevilDriver for a long time. It's a 6-string, and then I have one that was built a couple of years later, and you can see the change. I'm looking this way because I'm looking at them on the wall. You can see the bevel even right now. With like originally it was just like just a straight line, and then it kind of turned to where it kind of grooved a little more. And then this one, I think it's kind of more current thing, but it's almost like a belly carve, even though
I like it. It's
my
cool.
belly's not hanging up that long. Yeah,
hanging over the top of the guitar.
Yeah,
you have to lift it up to see what strings you're playing.
Dude, I'm not fat shaming or anything, but I just wouldn't. I don't want to get to that point.
So how many guitars do you own?
Dude, it's not crazy more than some, I guess. I think I'm like in the upper 20s, somewhere around like
Shit,
26, 27.
man, I've only got 6 or 7, and my wife is like, just doesn't understand it. And she's like, "You're gonna have to sell more to get if you want more." And I'm like, "They're kind of like art to me." I've
Yeah,
got all mine
yeah.
hanging around. You can't see in here, um, but yeah, I've got like I've got 3 wall hangers, and then like a stand, and then a heap of cases. But yeah, they're good to hang. They just look cool hanging around. You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah, yeah. I mean, same discussion happens in my house. Same thing. Um, I definitely like. I definitely had to be like, but I need this for tour. I need
Yeah,
this, you know,
yeah.
like I need this for this sound.
That's
And she's definitely very great, very gracious with the way that she talks to me about it, which is like, yeah, so you can't get that sound out of any other guitar that you have.
yeah.
Of the 20 guitars, you can't get that one
She
sound.
knows. She knows
No.
you're full of shit.
Yeah, yeah. She's been around this whole time. Like she's gone through the same musical journey. She's just had to hear it from outside a door. Like she's
Yeah.
been there. You know?
Yeah, with my wife, she doesn't know a whole lot about guitars, thankfully. But you know,
Yeah.
when I wanted to get the Evertune, I was like, oh, you know, because you know, when we put the air conditioner in the house, then the guitar goes out of tune, and so then I have to, like, if I'm in the middle of recording a song, and it's, you know, it's not really an issue, but oh, but I'm like, I really, really want an Evertune because I don't have one yet. And man, I've got to say, it's just good. Like, but I will say that, you know, my guitars always stay in tune. I don't really have any problems with my Osby's going out of tune, but the Evertune is just always perfectly in tune. And then if you put it in that zone, because you know how you're saying you can bend a note if you got it close enough to that unlocked zone. But if you have it, you know, just roll it back a bit, you can just smash the strings, you know, and because it's tuned low, and I use fairly light gauge because I got bitch fingers, but you can just smash the notes, and it's just never goes sharp. You know what I mean? On
Yeah.
the recording, so you can really dig in if you're feeling a part, really want to get that attack on the string. And oh, you know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but yeah, I'm just highlighting what I like about it.
Yeah.
And then I can just put it down, and then come back in here in 2 weeks, pick it up, and it's in tune. I don't have to go, oh, fuck's sake, and tune it. You know, even though
We
it's
should
not
give
hard to tune a guitar.
Sukoff was talking about how he wants me to play all these Evertune guitars when I go down there in Florida because they're great.
Yeah,
We should
for
send
a studio,
the
it's probably
Evertune.
makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's ever since they were invented, I can't tell you that have been on any record where they haven't been involved in some way. You know,
I was against it for a while because I was like, that's cheating.
I I just need to spend more. I'm not against them. But I don't. I need to spend more time with them because I like subtle bending.
Yeah, same. And I like using vibrato a lot on even like rhythm.
Yeah, and I don't know if it works the way I would want to in there. Maybe, I mean, I guarantee if you ask anybody that loves them, they'd be like, yeah, yeah, of
Yeah,
course you can. But
it does. I've got if I'm playing a bit like on the bottom string that I know like a riff's going to have a bit of that, you know, a bit of bend or vibrato, because I like to have a little nuance like that in my stuff. Then I'll tune it right up near where the, you know, that next zone is, so that I can bend it out of tune, I guess.
yeah,
So then, and then if I'm doing a bit that's just open rhythms, like heavy stuff, then I'll just drop it back a bit so that I know that it's not going to go sharp when I dig in.
that's the way to do it. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so I just worked around it. And because it has to be able to have vibrate, like be able to do that, because I'm like yourself, I just love to do that kind of stuff. You know, I guess I probably learned that from just playing so much Pantera when I was younger, or just trying to play like Dime, because he was like
Yeah,
that. He had that kind of sleazy kind of flavor to it. Hey, like that
yeah. They're
kind of,
always
yeah.
constantly like a little bit in here, a little bit in there. Like instead of just playing on the 6th fret, you're going to bend it up from 5 to get there just to start the riff or something. Yeah,
Well, that's just
he
one
did
thing
that.
with bands now. There's so many bands, you know, like overproduced, and they're playing everything so perfect that it's like robotic. It almost sounds like is programmed in MIDI, and then they've just added a guitar sound to the MIDI. You know what I mean? Like there's no nuance
Yeah,
to it. Whereas that's what I personally, me, I know it's just my opinion, but I like it where it's a bit more organic, and there's some nuance to it, and you can hear you can hear that guitarist signature. You know what I mean? Like every guitarist has their sound, and you definitely get that out when it's a bit more organic. I guess if it's overproduced, they're probably not going to get across their own flavor as much, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yes, of course it does. Yeah. I mean, I'm on the same team, man. I don't know that there's a right or wrong, but I know that my opinion is of a kind with you. Like there's nothing I love, like there's part of that gets lost a lot of specifically newer black metal. I loved the old messiness of like you're hitting there are times when like they were playing these full minor chords that are like, if you're playing them in a certain respect, it's the same chord that you'd be playing around a campfire on an acoustic.
Yeah.
Like it's full guitar, full chord. And but the thing is, like, you just want this hand to go as fast as you can. And they weren't worrying about making sure if they were 16th triplets or 30 seconds. They were just like, I just want to go fucking fast.
Yeah.
Man. And part of that ferocity would shine through. And it was like, oh, and that's what really got me into black metal and newer black metal. I feel like a lot of times people are just so concerned about making sure that every note is on grid.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's missing the whole point of this. Like it was supposed to just be ferocious, not about the timing. Of course, try to play in time. Like they weren't trying to not hit the next chord on time, but it's just, let's pay attention to some of the emotion.
Yeah.
That's I feel more often than not, the more you grid stuff, the more you're just taking away emotion. And
man.
It might be on time, but at what cost? You know,
that's the same with drums. Like
sure.
When you hear people put them on the grid, because like punk drummers play ahead of the beat, and then other drummers play behind. You kind of need to have that nuance there because otherwise you don't get that feel that punk songs have like an urgency to them because they're playing ahead of the beat kind of thing, and then it's good to be able to have that. Whereas if you put it to the grid, you lose that dynamic.
Yeah,
I think.
That's I unfortunately, because I am not a drummer. I wish I was, but I am not. And then B, I don't have a drum room to record real drums here. A lot of my demos come out with MIDI drums on them.
That's the same as me. Yeah.
Because I've been doing it for like 15 years through MIDI, I'm okay at it. And there have been a couple times where my MIDI drums have made it to an actual final mix of a song. And I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? Like those are my drums. Like, yeah, they sounded great. And I'm like, no, these are just a tool. Like this is just to show you a basic idea, scratch what that should be, but you need a real guy playing it. You can't just have that.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, fine. I'm like, oh my God.
Admittedly, all our stuff's is MIDI is programmed. I program it here, and then our drummer comes around and we change all the velocities, every single velocity of every note, and then move them to make it organic, because we just can't afford to mic up his drum kit and all that stuff. And we don't.
I'm not ripping on it. Again, I want to reiterate that I am not a drummer, and whatever whatever percussion stuff comes out of my tracking room, just it's all I'm trying to say should not be on an official recording.
We'd love to have real drums like one day, but at the moment it's just like I record everything here at my house apart from the vocals. He's got his own booth at home, but it's just like it doesn't cost us anything. All it costs us for is we just pay the guy that mixes and masters it, a guy we know that we like what he does with our sound. So that's our only outlay is that. Hey, I got that warning up about 10 minutes, probably 5 minutes ago, so it's probably only 5 minutes left of this. Sorry. I might have to pay for the full version or work something else out if I'm going to get remote guests more often.
Yeah. You normally just have it in there.
Yeah, that's correct. It's usually just local people.
I've seen pictures of it from your Instagram. So you normally just have it sitting across the table. Yeah,
that's correct. And when you toured over here, I was just setting it up, and I was like, oh, that'd be so cool if I could get Neal to come around. But you just had no time. But it would have been cool to do it in person. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Hopefully they were already talking about it next time.
Yeah, we'll suss it out for sure. Is there anything else you want to get out there?
No, not particularly. Just want everybody to check out the new Carnifex record that's come out this year.
Yeah, do you know when? Is there like a rough ballpark date or?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't even be able to guess. We'll be done recording in March. We'll be done by the end of March.
Cool. No worries.
And
I'll everyone keep their eyes peeled.
Like announceable. So
What's that? Sorry.
we've got a couple tours already lined up, but I don't think any of them are announceable.
Okay, yeah. No worries. You think you
Well,
might be coming to Australia again anytime soon, or?
So we talked about it. The last one did really well. So we talked about it, and the other kind of less important but works to what you're saying is that we want to next time extend it to where we have a little more time, a little more days off between stuff, and maybe do repeat nights in cities or something like that.
That's cool. Yeah, that'd be cool, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Thank you so much, man. I really, really do appreciate that. I'm sure you got a busy life, and I appreciate that you took the time out to have a chat with me.
Of course. I'm glad to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. And I'll message you after this and let you know about. I'll upload it and stuff. I'll have to edit it and all that stuff because obviously we had that break in between and all that. But yeah, I'll chat to you on there. And thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. And enjoy the rest of your day.
My love to your family.
Yeah, thanks, man. Same to you. Thanks.
Right on.